Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In.The.News. Live news and commentary from around the world by your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In the News. I'm your host, Holy Joe Rock and Roll. This is Friday, April the 7th, 2017. Overnight, Donald J. Trump took retaliatory action against Syria. Allegedly, or the reports I have so far, is anywhere between 49 and 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles were launched against the supposed Syrian airbase where a chemical attack against Syrian people was launched. Now, first off, no real evidence has been provided proving that the Assad regime actually perpetrated this attack. Now, remember when, I think it was 2013, when Obama said that he would draw a red line in the sand regarding chemical weapons, and then a few days later, a chemical weapon went off. Now, initially, it was assumed that the Assad regime launched the chemical attack. Later, we found out that these chemical weapons were provided to the rebels or Al-Qaeda or ISIS. Hashtag is, let's make it hashtag was. And that these low IQ Muslim terrorists were playing with the chemical weapons and they exploded on them. And that's what actually caused that chemical attack, quote unquote, back in 2013. It had nothing to do with the Assad regime. Obama asked for congressional authority to attack Syria. It didn't come, and nothing happened. Obama looked like a fool because the mainstream media and all the neocons and the war hawks tried to make it seem like Assad had perpetrated this war crime against his own people, when in fact it was essentially a hoax, a mistake, an accident that the rebels had done to themselves. Okay, the terrorists had done to themselves. Now, if we look at what happened yesterday, or a few days ago when this attack happened, supposed attack happened, now, we don't know what happened really. Was it a case of where the Assad regime did drop bombs on that location and perhaps it blew up a chemical weapon stockpile storage facility? Is that what happened? We don't know. No evidence has been provided, and that's what's really been concerning to me. Now, we fired this pinprick missile attack, which really of dubious value, right? Really of dubious value. And what's interesting is that we have this report from, coincidentally or ironically, from CNN, where Rubio says it's no coincidence that Syrian gas attack happens after concerning Tillerson comments. Now, both Trump and Tillerson in the last 2 weeks have both said that Syria, the future of Syria should be left to the Syrian people. Now, I've always said, what beef do we have with Syria as Americans or as the West? What has Syria done to America? Nothing. They've never attacked us. They've not harmed us. It is a shithole. I got a whole story when I tried to cross the border. 2 weeks later, that same location was blown up by a tanker truck full of fuel. They were trying to get me, but they were off by 2 weeks. Anyhow, Syria has done nothing to hurt us. And why are we messing with Syria? Let's look at the facts. Now, in this case, let me just take a step back. In Rubio's case, he's saying that because Tillerson has said that we're going to let the Syrian people decide for themselves, he believes that this emboldened Syrian President Bashar Assad, and that's why he did a chemical attack. That's his approach. But from a logical standpoint, with Russia's help, with sort of Chinese help in Syria to fight back ISIS, to fight back these so-called rebels, even the moderate rebels are ISIS, or radical jihadists in maybe a lesser form, but they're still pretty similar. That's what he thinks. He thinks that these... So if Assad is winning the war, Why would he have to resort to chemical weapons? It just makes no sense. Now, that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what I thought from the get-go. Like, why would he attack his own people like that? It just makes no sense. Once you've kind of like, you get pulled over by the cops for a ticket, you show your ID, you flash a badge, the cop says, all right, get the hell out of here, drive safely. You don't stop and say, but officer, what about my broken taillight? No, you get a pass, you take off, you go. So Assad has gotten the pass both from Trump and from Secretary of State Tillerson. Why would he gas his own people? It makes no sense. Now, it could very well be, if we look into the deep state geopolitics of this whole situation, Trump has been unable. Look, we got a Republican Congress, we got a Republican House, we got a Republican president. Trump campaigned on several things, right? Reduce taxes, repeal and replace Obamacare, protect the border, extreme vetting, he called it, beat the hell out of ISIS, and basically put America first, right? He's only been in like 60, 70 days now, but he's been unable to get most of his agenda out except through executive orders, okay? And it is really quite insane that the Republicans in Congress, the conservatives, whatever you want to call them, Rubio included, have really not been helping Trump push his agenda through, which the American people have asked for. And this recent attack makes no sense. Let's listen to Rubio's comments, see if I can get it queued up at the right spot.
Assad believes, and sadly he may be right, that he can gas his people with sarin, kill children, kill innocent civilians. People will complain, there'll be a meeting at the UN Security Council, and then life will go on, and he'll stay in power. He's made that calculation. The Russians support him on it. China is indifferent. And I hate to say this, I think he's going to get away with it again.
So that's Rubio's take, right? He's saying that he believes that this, the Trump policy to say, look, we're not going to do regime change in Syria. Let the Syrian people deal with it. Let's stabilize Syria. Let's end the civil war there. Once you end the civil war in Syria, all the so-called Syrian refugees are going to have to go back because the argument for them being in Europe, being in the U.S. is over. There's no more fear of your life. There's no more civil war. You got to go back. And that's a good thing. That should be a good thing for everybody. Get these people back into their own country. Get Syria to rebuild itself. Get Syria back on its feet. It never was a great place, but as St. Paul made his trip on the road to Damascus, where he found God, right, came to the Lord, maybe this is what we have to do. Just get the hell out of this place. There's no reason for us to be in Syria. Absolutely no reason. They've not done anything to us. And even if, here's the if, even if Assad did gas his own people, yeah, it's a bad thing, if he did. But what does it have to do with us? How is it hurting us? And why do we need to be the policemen of the world? Why do we need to get involved? Syria has so many neighbors. Turkey seems to be hell-bent on getting Assad out, so why doesn't Turkey just invade Syria and take it over like it did during the Ottoman Empire times? Maybe that's their plan, right? Some have accused Israel of wanting to destabilize the Middle East so that they can have their greater Israel plan, which is supposedly represented by the two stripes of the Israeli flag, the two blue striped rivers, the Nile River and the Euphrates River. Supposedly this is the greater Israel where they want to have their country. Now, is that true? I don't know. Possibly. But either way you look at it, this has nothing to do with us. I'm saying to the West, the United States, we need to stay the hell out of it. Let Syria get stabilized so then we can move on and make America great again and deal with the really important issues that are facing our country. Thank you for watching. I'm Holy Joe Rock and Roll, and this has been In the News.
Thank you for watching In the News, a feature of HJRR TV and presented by the Reverend Dr. Holy Joe Rock and Roll. Please rate us, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more In the News.